Two of my sons, Devin and Jordan, recently got new to them off-road vehicles that are bone stock. And we've been having some great discussions here in the garage, out on the trail, at camp, about what they want to do to modify their vehicle. We made a pretty good list of stuff we want to do. We're still working on that list. But I've shared with them some things that are very important that they install and carry with them to make sure they don't come home with any regrets. And I think there's some things that you should think about. And today in this video, I'm going to share with you 15 things you're going to want to install and carry with you out on the trail. Stay tuned.
It's raining.
Right time. Welcome to TrailRecon. I'm Brad, and that's right. Today I'm going to share with you 15 things that I think you need to have installed on your vehicle and you carry with you before you hit the trail so you don't come home with any regrets. And look, I don't have any priority for any of this stuff, but I want to mention that if anything has to do with safety or recovery and it's something you don't have, you need to put that on the top of your list. But we got quite a few cool things I think we'll be talking about today, starting with a first aid kit. And being a Navy corpsman for 26 years, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. I have a first aid kit like this one, a small little one, in every single vehicle. And when I get to head out on long adventures like I'm getting ready to do, then I bring the big boy with me. And having a nice one like this helps me to make sure that I've got everything I need, not only for myself, but the people I'm with in case of an emergency. Now, a couple important things to think about when you have a first aid kit in your vehicle. One, make sure it's not stuffed underneath a bunch of stuff and hard to get to. You want something you can grab and go. The other thing is, make sure you know what's in here. There's a lot of important gear in here that's going to save a life, and you need to know what's in here. And most importantly, you need to know how to use it. So go out, take a first aid class, and learn how to use the gear that's in here. And you never know, you might be able to save somebody's life. But having a good quality kit in the back of your vehicle, it's got everything you need just like this, it's going to serve you very well for a long time to come. All right, got more to talk about. And when it comes time to finally bolt something onto your vehicle, one of the first things you should be thinking about is a winch. Having a good quality winch on your vehicle is invaluable. You never know when you're going to find yourself out in the deep sand or the mud, or come across somebody that you need to help get out of a sticky situation. Having a winch is a great tool. Now, a couple things to keep in mind. One, most vehicles you're not going to be able to just throw a winch on there. You're going to need to install something. Like on this Jeep Wrangler, I had to add a winch plate. You might have to add a whole new bumper, which is going to add to the cost. Another thing to think about is on the winch, you don't need to spend thousands and thousands of dollars. There's lots of good quality winches out there. Just one thing that I would recommend, and that's get synthetic line. There's some good benefits to having synthetic line versus cable. Cable will get the job done, but synthetic is lighter, it's safer, and it's easier to work with. The next thing that's important with a winch is you gotta have a recovery gear bag. And you gotta make sure that you've got some shackles in there, you've got a tow strap, some things that are gonna help you use this winch. And just like the first aid kit, it's nice to have a winch, but you also need to know how to use it. So go out there and get yourself a little bit of training on how to do some proper recovery. All right, now two things down here that are very important to talk about. One is having a good rock rail, something to give your vehicle some protection. Now this Jeep Wrangler comes with some rock rails already, but I went and upgraded to something that sticks out just a little bit further. Because if you're out on a trail and you come across a big boulder or a tree stump and you take some damage to the side of your vehicle, to the lower rocker down here, I can guarantee that when you get that bill from the auto body shop that you're going to wish you had installed a good rock rail down here. So make sure that you have one of these on there so you don't have any regrets. And also, while we're down here, some good skid plates underneath. You need to make sure you protect some of those vital parts that are underneath your vehicle. Man, it can be very expensive if you damage some of that stuff. I've got the standard skid plates on this, but very soon here in the future, I've got something really cool we're going to be doing on this old Jeep. All right, more to talk about. Now this next one is a no-brainer for me, and that is some rubber floor mats. I can't tell you how invaluable that is. When you're out on the trail and you have those nice little plush carpeted mats and you go out in some mud or some really nasty dirt and you come home, you're gonna regret not having invested in some rubber floor mats. These are a nice upgrade, and it's so nice to come home at the end of the day, just hose them off and put them back in. Get yourself a good set of rubber floor mats. You won't regret it. Now I mentioned at the beginning of the video, some of these are more important than others, and this is one of them, and that's a fire extinguisher. Guys, if you don't have a fire extinguisher in your vehicle, I'm gonna leave links down below. You can head over to TrailRecon.com. You need to pick one of these up. Every vehicle should have a fire extinguisher. Now, you can get a standard one like this one here. Everybody knows how to use these. You pull the pin, you squeeze, you aim it at the fire. These are gonna do a really good job, and most folks know how to use these. Now, what I like are these element fire extinguishers, and I have this one mounted up on the roll cage. I like these because they're a little more compact, they last a long time, and they don't weigh very much, so they're easy to kind of tuck away in some places. These are very easy to use. You pull the cap, you pull the bottom off, and there's a little igniter here, and you strike that, point it at the fire, and this is gonna do a good job. If you've got a big engine fire, I think I'd rather have one of these than these, but regardless, you need to have one of these in your rig. You never know when you might have a fire in your vehicle, in somebody else's, or out at camp. This is an invaluable tool, guys. Make sure you get one. All right, this next one I'm gonna eat a little humble pie on, because recently when we were out on the trail, I got a flat tire and, well, I forgot this guy. So if you lift your vehicle, you put bigger tires on it, most likely the jack that comes with your vehicle is not going to do the job, and so you need to have something to back that up. Whether it's a stand like this that's specific for the Jeep Wrangler jack, and this allows you to push that jack up and it gives you a good platform to put the jack on, or you get yourself a bottle jack like this, a nice sturdy bottle jack that's got some extensions that you can put on here that allows you to get that tire up and off the ground. These can a lot of uses for a bottle jack. The only thing with these is, well, you've got to find a place to store them. They're a little heavy. So I keep one in a plastic ammo container like this when I do bring it. But typically, I have this. And now I won't ever forget this, because that was a mistake that I regretted, and I won't regret that again. Now, if you're a Jeep Wrangler owner, this is one thing that you should really consider installing, and that is a good set of headliners. In the summer, these Jeep roofs can get really hot, and it makes it hard for that air conditioner to do its job effectively. And so getting some good headliners that have some good insulation makes things really nice. Plus, when you're playing your tunes in here, you get a little bit better sound quality. And oh, by the way, you could throw some patches up there. Honestly, I ordered this Jeep Wrangler without the headliners because I wanted to do an aftermarket one like this. These are from Hot Headliners. They're really good. I know there's a couple others out there, but these ones have served me pretty well. The next important thing that you need to have on your vehicle is a good set of tires. Now look, you might have a Jeep, but it may have sport tires or all-season tires that's just not going to get the job done. They don't have the durability, the grip, the sidewall strength that you're going to get with an all-terrain or a mud-terrain tire. So you don't necessarily need big, massive tires, but you need a good quality tire. And let's say you're out on the trail. You're going to do the Mojave Trail, which is about 3 days. You're going to camp 2 nights, and on that first day, you get a flat tire. Well, hopefully you're carrying a full-size spare and you can just swap it out. But my recommendation is, as soon as you get to camp, you break out your tire repair kit, which is something you should also have, because you could come to regret it. Because if you get another flat tire on your trip, you want to be able to do a repair on that spare so you can at least get to a good tire shop when it's all said and done. Now that you've done that tire repair, you got to be able to inflate that tire. In my Jeep, I have a built-in ARB compressor that's under the seat that allows me to inflate and deflate all 4 tires. But having a portable one can be just as valuable, but you really just need something so you can inflate that tire that you just repaired. And so even a single little tire inflator like this one that's rechargeable on USB, it's only good for inflating 1 tire. You're not going to do all 4 as you're coming off the trail, airing up and airing down. But it doesn't take up much room, and it'll do a good job in getting that tire that you just fixed inflated again. So, give your tires a good consideration. You don't want any regrets out there. Now, I think every off-roader should have a Ziploc bag full of this stuff. That's right. nuts, bolts, washers, screws, just a little bit of hardware just in case you run into one of those situations. I can't tell you how many times we've had a bolt break, a shock mount bolt, or you needed to fix something on the inside of your vehicle. You just needed that one screw to prevent that rattle. Just having a little bit of extra hardware with you can be a huge asset. It would really suck to be out there and bust a shock bolt and realize, you know what, all I had to do was just pack a little Ziploc bag and I could have prevented that. You don't want to have that regret. Bring a little bit of hardware with you. Now, all those nuts, bolts, and screws aren't going to do you any good unless you've got a good set of tools. And this here is a tool bag that I've had for several years, probably 5 or 6 years. And it was a bit of an investment to buy this bag and to buy the tools that are just dedicated for my off-road vehicle. But you know, over the years, it's paid for itself time and time again. And I've got a full video that I did a while back about everything that's in here. But I'll just tell you, having a toolkit is invaluable. But when you are carrying a tool bag or a toolbox in your vehicle, you need to make sure it's strapped down or in a secure place. Because in a situation where you're in a rollover, the last thing you want is hammers and wrenches flying around. Now, in this toolkit, I've got pliers, I've got screwdrivers, I've got wrenches, and I've got just about every size wrench I need for this vehicle. Plus, I've got all kinds of lubricants, I've got some sealants, I've got duct tape, baling wire, you name it. I've got just about everything I need in here to do a pretty good trail repair. It's amazing what you could do with some baling wire, duct tape, and a ratchet strap. But having a good set of tools, guys, you gotta have it. Now, I think a good quality knife should be in everybody's everyday carry. But it's not what I want to talk about here right now. I want to share a little story with you. And I shared this story years ago. So for those of you that remember this story, well, this is just a good reminder. But for those of you that haven't heard this story, I hope you can learn a little bit from this. So I think it was back in 2016, 2017, I witnessed a vehicle, the Jeep, roll over. And when they rolled over, fuel started coming out of the vehicle and we started to get pretty concerned. Grabbed my first aid kit and ran up there. And if you know what happens with the seatbelts when a vehicle rolls over is they lock up. And so the only way to get them out of the vehicle was to cut those seatbelts. And well, all I had at the time was my knife, which is not the safest way to extract somebody, because when you're cutting that seatbelt, when they're upside down under tension, now this blade becomes a hazard, and that's not the best way to do it. Thankfully, I was able to safely get them out of the vehicle, but right after that, I made sure that I never hit the trail again without a seatbelt cutter. This is the safest way to cut a seatbelt and helps get somebody extracted. Plus, these have a window breaker, so you can break the window, cut the seatbelt, and either get out of your vehicle or help somebody else get out. These are inexpensive, and you want to make sure that you put these somewhere that's easily accessible. For me, I just mount them right up here on the sun visor. Works pretty well, guys. So a seatbelt cutter is something that, you know, I regretted not having that day. Never again. So has there been a time in the past when you've been out on a trail or on an adventure and you regretted not having something installed on your vehicle or forgot to carry something with you that you later regretted not having? If you're willing, I would love to hear your story in the comments below and what that one thing was. I think there's an opportunity here from us all to learn from one another. Hopefully you've learned a couple lessons from me and got some good information about some things you want to carry with you when you're out on the trail. I'm going to leave links down below for some other videos that are related to some of this stuff and some product links as well. You guys can go check those out. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.